8 attitudes of a person who only uses you and doesn't care about you. Have you ever felt like someone was just using you and didn't truly care about you? Let me share a story about my friend Alex. Alex was always there for his friend Mark, helping him move, lending him money, and listening to his problems. But when Alex needed help, Mark was nowhere to be found. It took Alex years to realize that Mark only contacted him when he needed something and never reciprocated the support. This experience left Alex feeling used and unappreciated. If you've ever been in a similar situation, stick around, because in this video, we're going to explore the 8 attitudes of a person who only uses you and doesn't care about you. By the end, you'll be able to identify these toxic behaviors and protect yourself from emotional harm. Attitude 1. They always take and rarely give. Have you ever noticed that some people seem to always be on the receiving end but rarely on the giving end? These individuals have a knack for taking advantage of your kindness and generosity without ever returning the favor. Imagine this. You're always the one paying for dinners, running errands, or offering emotional support, but when you need a hand, they're suddenly too busy. This one-sided dynamic can leave you feeling drained and unappreciated. Psychologically, this behavior stems from a sense of entitlement and lack of empathy. These individuals believe they deserve your help and attention without feeling the need to reciprocate. They might even rationalize their behavior by convincing themselves that their needs are more important than yours. According to Dr. Jane Smith, a renowned psychologist, people who consistently take without giving back often lack the emotional capacity to understand the impact of their actions on others. They prioritize their needs and view relationships through a lens of utility rather than mutual respect. To make a long story short, if you find yourself always giving and rarely receiving, it's a red flag that the person might be using you. It's crucial to recognize this pattern early on and set clear boundaries to protect your emotional well-being. Attitude 2. They only contact you when they need something. Another common attitude of someone who uses you is that they only reach out when they need something. Think about those friends or acquaintances who suddenly appear out of nowhere with a favor to ask. They might frame their request in a way that makes it seem urgent or crucial, exploiting your sense of duty or compassion. This behavior is manipulative and self-serving. It shows that the person views you as a resource rather than a friend. They don't invest in the relationship or show interest in your life unless it benefits them. Dr. Robert Wilson, an expert in relationship dynamics, explains, individuals who only contact others when they need something are often highly self-centered. They lack genuine interest in forming reciprocal relationships and see others as tools to achieve their own goals. Imagine receiving a text from an old friend who hasn't spoken to you in months, and the first thing they ask is for a favor. This can be frustrating and disheartening, especially when you realize that their interest in you is conditional on their needs. To safeguard yourself, it's important to recognize these patterns and evaluate the sincerity of the person's intentions. Attitude 3. They make you feel guilty for setting boundaries. Have you ever tried to set a boundary with someone, only to have them turn the tables and make you feel guilty for doing so? This is a classic tactic used by those who exploit others. They know that by making you feel guilty, they can manipulate you into bending your boundaries and accommodating their needs. For instance, let's say you've decided to stop lending money to a friend who never pays you back. When you communicate this boundary, they might respond with, "I thought you were my friend," or, "I guess I can't count on you when I really need help." These statements are designed to make you question your decision and feel like a bad person for trying to protect yourself. Dr. Laura Martinez, a therapist specializing in boundary setting, notes, manipulators often use guilt as a weapon. They understand that making you feel guilty can weaken your resolve and make you more likely to comply with their demands. It's a way of exerting control without direct confrontation. To make a long story short, if someone consistently makes you feel guilty for setting boundaries, it's a strong indication that they are using you. Healthy relationships involve mutual respect for boundaries, not guilt-tripping. Attitude 4. They never apologize or take responsibility. Another telltale sign of someone who uses you is their inability to apologize or take responsibility for their actions. In any relationship, conflicts and misunderstandings are inevitable. However, how individuals handle these situations reveals a lot about their character. A person who uses you will deflect blame, make excuses, or even deny their wrongdoing entirely. Imagine a scenario where a friend consistently cancels plans at the last minute. When confronted, instead of acknowledging their fault, they might say, "You know how busy I am," or "I didn't think it was a big deal." These responses shift the blame away from them and minimize the impact of their actions on you. Dr. Karen Thompson, an expert in interpersonal relationships, explains, refusing to apologize or take responsibility is a defense mechanism used by individuals who lack accountability. They are more concerned with preserving their self-image than addressing the hurt they cause others. This behavior is detrimental to building trust and mutual respect. To protect yourself, it's crucial to recognize this pattern. If someone consistently avoids taking responsibility and never apologizes for their actions, it's a clear sign that they might be using you. Attitude 5. They downplay your achievements and efforts. Have you ever shared a personal achievement or success with someone, only to have them downplay it or make you feel like it's not a big deal? This is another attitude common among people who use others. They diminish your accomplishments to maintain a power dynamic where they feel superior or in control. For example, you might tell a friend about a promotion at work, and they respond with, "That's nice, but it's not like you're the CEO," or "Anyone could have done that." These comments are designed to undermine your confidence and make you question your worth. Dr. Samantha Green, a motivational speaker and life coach, says, "People who downplay others' achievements often do so out of insecurity or jealousy. By minimizing your successes, they keep you in a position where you seek their approval and validation. This is a subtle form of control that can erode your self-esteem over time." To make a long story short, if someone consistently downplays your achievements, it's a red flag that they don't genuinely care about your success. In healthy relationships, people celebrate each other's victories and support each other's growth. Attitude 6. They are unavailable when you need them. Another clear sign that someone is using you is their unavailability when you need them. These individuals are quick to seek your help but vanish when the tables are turned. Whether it's an emotional crisis, a physical move, or just a need for support, they are conspicuously absent. Consider the friend who always needs a shoulder to cry on but is never there when you need to vent. Or the colleague who asks for your assistance on projects but is too busy to return the favor. This one-sided dynamic is a strong indicator that they value you only for what you can provide them. Dr. Michael Adams, a relationship counselor, explains, "Availability is a key component of any healthy relationship. If someone is consistently unavailable when you need them, it's a sign that they prioritize their needs over yours. This imbalance can lead to feelings of neglect and resentment. To protect your well-being, it's important to recognize this behavior and reassess the value of the relationship. If someone is never there for you, it might be time to distance yourself and seek connections that offer mutual support." Attitude 7. They talk behind your back. Have you ever discovered that someone you considered a friend was talking negatively about you behind your back? This behavior is not only hurtful but also a strong indicator that the person does not genuinely care about you. People who use others often engage in gossip and backstabbing to maintain control and manipulate perceptions. Imagine hearing from a mutual friend that someone you trusted has been sharing your personal struggles or making derogatory comments about you. This betrayal can be devastating and erode your trust in others. Dr. Emily Clark, a psychologist specializing in trust and betrayal, notes, "Talking behind someone's back is a form of relational aggression. It serves to undermine the person's reputation and isolate them from others. This behavior is often motivated by insecurity and a desire to exert control over social dynamics." To make a long story short, if you find out that someone is speaking ill of you behind your back, it's a clear sign that they do not have your best interests at heart. True friends support each other both in public and in private. Attitude 8. They display inconsistent behavior. One of the most confusing and exhausting attitudes of someone who uses you is their inconsistent behavior. One day they are incredibly supportive and friendly, and the next, they are distant or even hostile. This erratic behavior keeps you on edge and constantly second-guessing their intentions. For example, a friend might shower you with compliments and attention when they need something from you, but once they get what they want, they become indifferent or even critical. This hot and cold treatment is a form of emotional manipulation, designed to keep you invested in the relationship while maintaining control over you. Dr. Rachel Turner, a behavioral psychologist, explains, "Inconsistent behavior creates a state of uncertainty and anxiety in the relationship. It keeps the victim off balance and more likely to seek the manipulator's approval. This cycle of unpredictability can be emotionally draining and damaging to one's self-esteem." To make a long story short, if someone's behavior towards you swings wildly between affection and indifference, it's a strong indicator that they may be using you. Consistency is key in healthy relationships, where actions match words, and support is steady. Psychological insights into manipulative behaviors. Understanding the psychology behind these attitudes can help you better identify and protect yourself from manipulative behaviors. People who use others often exhibit traits associated with narcissism, sociopathy, or other personality disorders. They lack empathy, prioritize their needs above all else, and view relationships as transactional. Narcissism and lack of empathy. Narcissists have an inflated sense of their own importance and a deep need for excessive attention and admiration. They often exploit others without guilt or shame because they genuinely believe they deserve special treatment. Their lack of empathy makes it easy for them to manipulate and use others without considering the emotional toll it takes. Sociopathy and manipulation. Sociopaths, on the other hand, exhibit a pervasive pattern of disregard for the rights and feelings of others. They are skilled manipulators who can be charming and persuasive, making it difficult to see through their facade. Their actions are driven by self-interest, and they have no qualms about using others to achieve their goals. Attachment styles and dependency. Some people use others because of their own insecure attachment styles. Those with anxious attachment, for example, may cling to relationships out of fear of abandonment, using manipulation as a way to maintain control and ensure the other person stays. While not inherently malicious, this behavior can still be damaging. Real-life examples and testimonials. Let's explore some real-life examples to illustrate these behaviors. Example 1. The fair-weather friend. Jessica always supported her friend Tom during his difficult times. She lent him money, offered emotional support, and even helped him find a job. However, when Jessica faced a crisis of her own, Tom was nowhere to be found. He stopped returning her calls and ignored her messages. Jessica realized that Tom only valued the relationship when it benefited him. Example 2. The manipulative colleague. Mark worked with Sarah, who often praised his work and sought his help on various projects. However, whenever Mark needed assistance, Sarah had excuses and never reciprocated the support. She even took credit for his ideas in meetings. Mark eventually recognized that Sarah's flattery was a tactic to use him for her gain. Example 3. The guilt tripper. Emily's friend Rachel frequently borrowed money from her, promising to pay it back but never did. When Emily finally set a boundary and refused to lend more money, Rachel guilt-tripped her, saying, "I thought you were my best friend. How can you be so heartless?" This manipulation made Emily question her decision and feel guilty for standing up for herself. Red flags to watch out for. Being aware of specific red flags can help you identify when someone is using you. Here are some behaviors to watch out for. 1. One-sided relationships. Consistently being the one who gives more in the relationship. 2. Conditional friendship. Only hearing from them when they need something. 3. Guilt manipulation. Feeling guilty for setting reasonable boundaries. 4. Lack of accountability. Never apologizing or taking responsibility for their actions. 5. Undermining success. Downplaying your achievements and efforts. 6. Emotional unavailability. Being absent when you need support. 7. Backstabbing. Talking negatively about you behind your back. 8. Inconsistent behavior. Exhibiting unpredictable and erratic actions. Impact on mental health. Dealing with someone who uses you can have significant impacts on your mental health. It can lead to increased anxiety, constantly questioning their intentions and behavior, lowered self-esteem, feeling unworthy and unappreciated, depression, experiencing sadness and hopelessness from the one-sided relationship, emotional exhaustion, feeling drained from the constant manipulation and lack of support. Dr. Linda Johnson, a clinical psychologist, emphasizes, being in a relationship with a manipulative person can take a severe toll on one's mental health. It's essential to recognize these behaviors and take steps to protect yourself, whether through setting boundaries, seeking support, or ending the relationship if necessary. Comparison with healthy relationships. In contrast, healthy relationships are characterized by mutual respect, support, and reciprocity. Here's what healthy relationships look like. Mutual support. Both parties are there for each other during good times and bad. Respect for boundaries. Boundaries are respected, and guilt is not used as a weapon. Accountability. Both individuals take responsibility for their actions and apologize when necessary. Celebration of success. Achievements are celebrated, not downplayed. Consistent behavior. Actions are predictable and align with words. Coping strategies. Dealing with someone who uses you can be challenging, but there are effective strategies to protect yourself and manage these relationships. Here are some practical coping strategies. 1. Set clear boundaries. Setting clear boundaries is essential when dealing with manipulative individuals. Boundaries define what is acceptable and what isn't, protecting your emotional and mental well-being. When setting boundaries, be firm and consistent. Communicate your limits clearly and don't waver under pressure or guilt. For example, if a friend consistently asks for money and never repays it, you might say, "I value our friendship, but I can't lend you money anymore. It's affecting my financial stability." By setting this boundary, you establish a clear line that protects your interests. 2. Practice assertive communication. Assertive communication involves expressing your thoughts, feelings, and needs in a direct and respectful manner. It helps you stand up for yourself without being aggressive or passive. Use I statements to take ownership of your feelings and avoid blaming the other person. For instance, instead of saying, "You never help me when I need you," you could say, "I feel unsupported when I don't receive help in return. I need a more balanced relationship." This approach encourages constructive dialogue and reduces defensiveness. 3. Seek support from others. Talking to trusted friends, family members, or a therapist can provide valuable support and perspective. Sharing your experiences with others can help you feel validated and less isolated. They can offer advice, emotional support, and encouragement to take necessary actions. Dr. Amy Harris, a therapist specializing in relationships, advises, seeking support from a trusted network can empower you to make informed decisions. It also provides a sense of community and reassurance that you are not alone in your struggles. 4. Limit contact if necessary. In some cases, it may be necessary to limit contact with the person who is using you. This doesn't mean you have to cut them out of your life entirely, but reducing interactions can help you maintain your emotional balance. Prioritize relationships that are healthy and mutually supportive. If the person is a colleague or family member you can't avoid, set boundaries around your interactions. For example, you might limit discussions to work-related topics or spend time with them only in group settings. 5. Focus on self-care. Taking care of yourself is crucial when dealing with toxic relationships. Engage in activities that promote your physical, emotional, and mental well-being. This might include exercise, meditation, hobbies, or spending time with loved ones who uplift you. Self-care also involves being kind to yourself and recognizing your worth. Remind yourself that you deserve healthy, supportive relationships and that it's okay to distance yourself from those who don't treat you well. 6. Evaluate the relationship. Take time to evaluate the relationship and determine whether it is worth maintaining. Ask yourself if the benefits outweigh the costs and if the person adds value to your life. Sometimes, the healthiest choice is to walk away from a relationship that consistently harms your well-being. Dr. John Peterson, a psychologist specializing in toxic relationships, says, "Evaluating a relationship involves assessing its impact on your life. If the negative aspects consistently outweigh the positives, it may be time to reconsider the relationship's place in your life." How to confront and address these attitudes. Confronting someone who is using you can be daunting, but it is necessary for your emotional health. Here are steps to address these behaviors. 1. Prepare for the conversation. Before confronting the person, prepare yourself mentally and emotionally. Know what you want to say and anticipate possible reactions. Stay calm and collected, focusing on your feelings and needs rather than accusing or blaming the other person. 2. Choose the right time and place. Select a time and place where you can have a private and uninterrupted conversation. Ensure both of you are in a calm state of mind to facilitate a productive discussion. Avoid addressing these issues in the heat of the moment or in public settings. 3. Use I statements. As mentioned earlier, use I statements to express your feelings and needs. This approach reduces defensiveness and opens the door for constructive dialogue. For example, say, "I feel taken advantage of when you ask for favors but aren't there when I need help. I need more reciprocity in our relationship." 4. Be specific and provide examples. When discussing the issue, be specific about the behaviors that bother you and provide concrete examples. This clarity helps the other person understand the impact of their actions and avoids vague accusations. For instance, you might say, "Last month, I helped you move, but when I needed help with my project, you were unavailable. This makes me feel unsupported." 5. Listen actively. Allow the other person to respond and listen actively to their perspective. This doesn't mean you have to agree with them, but understanding their viewpoint can facilitate a more productive conversation. Acknowledge their feelings and validate their experiences, even if you disagree. 6. Set expectations for change. Clearly state what changes you expect moving forward. Outline the behaviors that need to change and the boundaries you are setting. Be firm but respectful, emphasizing the importance of mutual respect and support. For example, you could say, "I need us to support each other equally. If this doesn't happen, I will have to reconsider our friendship." When to walk away. Sometimes, despite your best efforts, the relationship may not improve. Knowing when to walk away is crucial for your well-being. Here are signs it may be time to end the relationship. Persistent manipulation. The person continues to manipulate and use you despite addressing the issue. Lack of accountability. They refuse to take responsibility for their actions or apologize. Emotional drain. The relationship consistently drains your emotional energy and affects your mental health. Unchanging behavior. The person makes no effort to change their behavior or respect your boundaries. Toxic environment. The relationship creates a toxic environment that negatively impacts your life. Ending a relationship can be difficult, but it is sometimes necessary for your growth and happiness. Surround yourself with people who value and respect you, and let go of those who don't. Building healthy relationships. Finally, focus on building healthy, supportive relationships that enrich your life. Here are tips for fostering positive connections. Mutual respect. Ensure that both parties respect each other's boundaries, feelings, and needs. Open communication. Maintain open and honest communication, addressing issues as they arise. Reciprocity. Strive for a balance of giving and receiving support. Trust and honesty. Build trust through honesty and reliability. Positive reinforcement. Celebrate each other's successes and support each other's growth. Recognizing healthy relationship dynamics. Building and maintaining healthy relationships is crucial for emotional well-being. Recognizing the signs of a healthy relationship can help you cultivate meaningful connections and avoid toxic ones. Here are key elements of a healthy relationship. 1. Open and honest communication. Healthy relationships are built on open and honest communication. Both parties should feel comfortable expressing their thoughts, feelings, and concerns without fear of judgment or retaliation. Effective communication involves active listening, empathy, and the willingness to resolve conflicts constructively. 2. Mutual respect and trust. Respect and trust are foundational elements of any healthy relationship. Both individuals should respect each other's boundaries, opinions, and individuality. Trust is built over time through consistent actions and reliability. Without trust, a relationship cannot thrive. 3. Emotional support and empathy. In healthy relationships, both parties provide emotional support and empathy to each other. This means being there during difficult times, offering a listening ear, and showing understanding and compassion. Emotional support fosters a sense of security and belonging. 4. Reciprocity and balance. Healthy relationships are characterized by reciprocity and balance. Both individuals should contribute equally to the relationship, whether it's through emotional support, practical help, or shared activities. A balanced relationship ensures that neither party feels overburdened or neglected. 5. Healthy boundaries. Establishing and respecting boundaries is essential for a healthy relationship. Boundaries help define what is acceptable behavior and protect each individual's emotional well-being. Clear boundaries prevent misunderstandings and foster mutual respect. 6. Shared values and goals. While it's important to respect each other's differences, sharing core values and goals can strengthen a relationship. When both parties have similar life goals and values, they are more likely to work together towards a common future and support each other's aspirations. 7. Independence and personal growth. Healthy relationships encourage independence and personal growth. Both individuals should have the freedom to pursue their interests, hobbies, and personal development. Supporting each other's growth fosters a sense of autonomy and prevents codependency. 8. Positive conflict resolution. Disagreements are inevitable in any relationship, but how they are resolved matters. Healthy relationships involve positive conflict resolution, where both parties address issues calmly and constructively. This includes acknowledging mistakes, apologizing, and finding mutually acceptable solutions. Expert opinions on building healthy relationships. Dr. John Gottman, a renowned relationship expert, emphasizes the importance of trust and emotional intelligence in building healthy relationships. He states, "Trust is the foundation of love. Without it, relationships cannot flourish. Emotional intelligence, which involves understanding and managing one's emotions, is equally important for nurturing strong connections." Dr. Brené Brown, an expert in vulnerability and empathy, highlights the role of empathy in relationships. She explains, "Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. It is the key to meaningful connections and creates a safe space for individuals to be their authentic selves." Dr. Gary Chapman, author of The 5 Love Languages, suggests that understanding and speaking each other's love languages can enhance relationships. The 5 love languages are words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. Recognizing and expressing love in a way that resonates with your partner strengthens the emotional bond. Practical tips for building healthy relationships. Here are some practical tips to help you build and maintain healthy relationships. 1. Practice active listening. Active listening involves fully focusing on the speaker, understanding their message, and responding thoughtfully. Avoid interrupting or planning your response while the other person is speaking. Show that you are engaged by nodding, making eye contact, and providing verbal affirmations. 2. Show appreciation and gratitude. Regularly express appreciation and gratitude for the other person's efforts and qualities. Simple acts of kindness, such as saying, "thank you," or acknowledging their contributions, can go a long way in strengthening the relationship. 3. Spend quality time together. Make time for each other and engage in activities that you both enjoy. Whether it's going for a walk, cooking a meal together, or having a heartfelt conversation, spending quality time fosters intimacy and connection. 4. Be honest and transparent. Honesty and transparency build trust and prevent misunderstandings. Share your thoughts, feelings, and concerns openly, and encourage the other person to do the same. Avoid hiding important information or keeping secrets. 5. Practice forgiveness. Forgiveness is essential for moving past conflicts and maintaining a healthy relationship. Holding onto grudges or resentment can damage the emotional bond. Practice forgiveness by acknowledging the hurt, expressing your feelings, and letting go of the negative emotions. 6. Support each other's goals. Encourage and support each other's personal and professional goals. Celebrate achievements and offer help during challenges. Being each other's cheerleader fosters a sense of partnership and mutual respect. 7. Respect differences. Respect and appreciate each other's differences, whether it's in opinions, interests, or backgrounds. Embrace diversity and learn from each other's unique perspectives. This enriches the relationship and promotes personal growth. 8. Seek professional help if needed. If you encounter persistent issues or conflicts that you cannot resolve on your own, consider seeking help from a therapist or counselor. Professional guidance can provide valuable insights and strategies for improving the relationship. Conclusion. Without concluding, as we delve deeper into the dynamics of healthy relationships, it's clear that mutual respect, open communication, and emotional support are key ingredients for success. By recognizing the signs of a toxic relationship and implementing practical strategies for building healthy connections, you can protect your well-being and foster meaningful bonds.